Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor.
Welcome back, everyone. We're talking with Alex Maslow from Edge Rods and Oars. We're going to talk about that in a second. But we got Al from Malala. He's got a question about trolling rods. Real quickly, Al, what's your question for Alex?
Yes, I ran 3 rods out the back of my boat for 360s.
Yeah.
And I seem to run the same brand of rod, and I run a 10-6 rod out of the back. Now, if I buy an Edge rod and put it in with the other rods, if it a shorter or a 10-6, will it affect my other rods? Because I like to use the same weight and the same trolling speed, and it seems to pulse just right.
Okay, so his question is he runs 3 rods out of the back of the boat, different manufactured rods, but if he were to throw a 360 in the middle of their 360 Pro rod, would it interfere? I have an answer for you, but I'm going to let Alex answer it for you. Would it interfere with how the other ones may be working?
If he's, what we would recommend is he would use a different amount of lead.
Oh.
Because then it's going to be at a different level in the water.
Okay.
It also does have a much wider range.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't want you to have anything to tangle up, Al. The best answer for this is we have one of our ambassadors pro at VAP Outdoors. He does a half an hour discussion on which rods for what conditions, for what lead. It's on his YouTube channel.
Oh, okay. VIP Outdoors.
VIP Outdoors. Yeah. Check it out. He does an amazing job. The short answer is no, but as long as you're using a lead ball that's a little bit different.
Okay, so that makes sense. So you're able to keep it separated a little bit more. He mentioned that it does allow that flasher to have a wider rotation. That's because it's not being restricted by a rod that isn't designed specifically for it. Now, can you use rods that aren't specifically for a 360 or designed for that?
Yeah.
Absolutely you can. You will get a better, you will present that flasher better with one of those 360 rods. It's just the way that they're designed. It allows them to make the rotation, but it has the infamous whoop. And it's that whoop that, how do you like my sound?
I'm taking notes.
Whoop.
I'm taking notes.
You get that whoop in there, and that little whoop is the time when that fish will sometimes, not always, but a lot of the times come up and grab a hold of the bait in that pause of that whoop. All right, so let's see if that helps. All right, so first things first, Edge Oars. I just picked up a drift boat. First piece of the puzzle was to get the best available. And what you guys have here is number one, very innovative. Number two, highly sought after. But with these oars, just give us a quick idea of what the differences are maybe from some of the others that might be available.
You bet. So the entire system weighs about 3 pounds. So normally, you know, your drift boat oars will weigh somewhere in the range of 9 to 12 pounds. It's literally a third of the weight.
Right.
They are a composite oar, so they're very light. They float. So when you let them go, not like a traditional oar, they'll not sink to the bottom. They'll stay in the top of the water column. Makes it really easy when you're trying to re-rig and you're now all over the place trying to look for.
And it's a safety feature, to be quite honest with you. If you got oars that sink, that's how one of them hits the bottom and then shoots back at you like a rocket. And I've seen, I watched my father, 210-pound man, go out of a raft one day with that right underneath his arm. It was very interesting.
Some of them can pin it underneath the boat too because they're sinking to the bottom under a rock, and then you're causing all sorts of
It certainly is something to consider. Also, your adjustable handles.
Yep.
I have not seen that. I'll be 100% honest here. I haven't owned a drift boat in a very long time. I've been able to spend plenty of time in one. But with these adjustable handles, I don't know if it's an industry exclusive. All I know is that it gives you another place to make an adjustment so that your oars fit you in whatever boat it is that you're running correctly, right? I mean, it's just another place to adjust.
Yep. They're very standard in sculling, so racing, because everybody's got, you know, they have to be kind of in the same range, so they adjust for different length. Definitely not common in drift boat oars. As far as I know, we're the only company that does it. It makes it really easy for you to adjust. The other thing that when you get really cold on those winter days, take your pocket warmers.
Oh.
This is hollow. Just put it on the inside there, and you'll be warm for an entire day. This is hollow, so... You know, listen, I'm not. I'm just saying, you know, it's one of those little comforts of home.
I would not have thought of that, but you know what? Winter steelhead fishing gets cold. Okay, that's
like cold.
That's okay.
Yeah,
that's very, very cool all by itself. And then of course you have, this is a system. Okay, from Edge, it's a system. You've got 2 different versions of blades. I'm actually going to go with the shallow cuts. okay, myself personally. Then you have the standard blade itself. This is more designed for shallower water conditions. You can use it in any condition, of course. This is being more suited or more thought of just deeper water, situations where you're not going to be, grabbing that extra inch of water to get a little bit of grab, which is where I think I see the benefit here. It'll still work fine in deep water, but in that shallow stuff, it'll be nice to be able just to get that little extra grab. And if you're a drift boater, to get that last little bit when you're trying to get the boat around or whatever if the water's shallow. But these are made by you too. These,
yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, this isn't something that's just third party or whatever else. It is part of the system.
Correct. Yep.
Most commonly purchased, is it the shallow?
Shallow cuts.
Is it really?
Shallow cuts. Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. And really, I think what's happening is a lot of guys are moving off to the coast to do a lot of steelhead fishing where the water levels can be fairly unpredictable.
Sure.
So they're going with shallows just to be safe.
Gotcha.
Guys that are in Michigan, guys that are in kind of the Seattle area, they're the ones that are using the traditional blades because they're usually in the higher rivers.
Okay, gotcha. And some of the rivers that I'm paying, we just showed them, that I'm paying attention to are so low and clear right now. Sled's not even an option, but let alone having a shallow cut style of blade would certainly be an advantage. That's the direction that I will ultimately be going. But again, to keep going with this as a system, when you do run the edge oars, you're going to need, what I just received were oar locks that will not work with these oars, okay? And you got your stoppers that are from Edge as well. So you've got the oar locks, the stoppers for your oar shafts, the blades, all in packages on your website, which I thought was super cool. I mean, you can purchase individual blades or shafts, but if you buy the whole kit, which, by the way, I thought was very affordable, too, with the oar locks, which these things are made, look at that. I mean, these are machined aluminum. I mean, just beautiful. These are called Strong Arm?
Strong Arm, yep. A company called Headwater Marine. Headwaters Marine, Sean Ball, Ben Hill, out of Ridgefield. They make these oar locks for us. I have a great relationship with them. They've been our staffers for a while, but it's made to fit the stopper perfectly, and if you don't want it to kind of lock in place, all you do is you just turn it around and it just becomes like a regular stopper.
Yeah, where you can feather a little bit more. Oar rights are popular for a reason, especially when you drop yours and you want them to settle alongside the drift boat itself, and they settle vertical, straight up and down, so you're not all over the place. I got some more sound effects in there. Yeah, but it's true. I mean, if you understand what I'm referring to, if you know, you know. But that whole system, from all the different lengths of rods, different blades, are available in packages from the Edge website. The first question I got yesterday after mentioning I was going to be picking up the boat was, well, okay, what Edge oars are you going with? Obviously, these. But availability. Would these be available at the sports shows as well?
They are. Full transparency, I believe we're only bringing 10 sets to each show.
Okay.
So if somebody they want to put their hands on a set, be there either the first or the second day.
Okay.
So the availability of oars is better, but it is almost kind of a build to order just because we get overwhelmed with orders too.
Well, I can only imagine. It's not a rod. I'm not saying that I know that there's going to be more process going on here, but it is a bit different, and it's certainly something that, it's called Edge rods, not Edge oars. Right. Anyway, I got to cut to a break. You're staying with me throughout the remainder of the show. We're going to be back to wrap things up in just a couple minutes, everyone. Don't